Tanakwe, Talofa, and good morning to you people of the internet. Welcome to Right in the Childhood. On this part of the show, I look at a children's TV show or movie, whether it's from the 1990s or the 2010s, and either give it the praise it deserves or send it to the fiery pits of hell where it belongs. And here we are, back right where we started, edutainment. Now, the mark of a really good edutainment show is that yeah, it has the awesome characters that you love, but you can also remember the lessons. They still come to mind when you go back. And that's especially the case for me with one of my particular favourites as a kid, Blue's Clues. Might have a video about that later on in the future, but not making any promises. And I'm sure many of you probably have your own favourites too, like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. However, what about the really, really bad ones? Well, if you ask me, the mark of a really bad edutainment show is that you don't exactly remember what you learned. You just remember the characters, and sometimes it just comes flooding back with all the cringeworthiness. Whether the message is outdated or the characters were just unbelievably sappy and sweet. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And sadly, this is most definitely the case with Barney and Friends.
Barney the Dinosaur. Once an icon of 90s kids TV, it is now the butt of so many pervert and pedophile jokes nowadays, including from some of my friends and I.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. Oh god!
I just like to imagine that Barney and his friends are watching as well.
Yeah.
Oh god! Ah!
This show was created by Cheryl Leach in 1987 and ran until 2009. A pretty big run despite a poor rating on IMDb. Only 3.5. Seriously, how did it get such a long run? Is this something we missed? Or did some high up in PBS just want to keep it going for their own personal reason? Well, let's find out. The show revolves around a group of school-aged children, depending on the series, at a school or in a park. It usually begins with the kids wanting to learn about something or explore, usually followed by a song.
Oh, it is a sunny day. Yes, but it's more than that.
That hokey child acting. Actually, what's surprising about the show is that it actually featured some modern-day celebrities like Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato. Wait, so the show isn't a stain on your resume? That's surprising. I actually thought if you were involved with that show, Hollywood would never want you. I'll be brief about the children here. They're a bunch of Mary Sues and Gary Stews. Well, almost. They're portrayed as being without flaw, always cheerful and happy, pretty much trying to induct people into the idea that we just need joy in our lives rather than sadness and anger. It's so weird to see children acting in a way that just seems so devoid of actual humanity. I mean, I get the fact they're trying to encourage happiness, nothing against that, but for the sake of humanity, no, just no. Though, on a more positive note, the diversity is great. I mean, where else are you going to see whites, blacks, Latinos, and the handicapped share a stage together? The show doesn't get a pass, but credit where credit is due. They try to start doing this activity themselves before, with the power of imagination, Barney appears.
We'll be there soon, Barney. Whoa! Oh,
Yes, kids, hug me!
Sorry, couldn't help myself. Barney, played by a mix of voice and body actors, including Bob West, wants to know what they're up to, and when he finds out, offers his own advice and assistance as well. Barney generally has the help of his friends. Baby Bop, a green triceratops with a love of her yellow blanket, BJ, a yellow protoceratops, and Riff, an orange hadrosaur who loves music. Oh joy, more dinosaurs. Well, to be fair, most of them aren't unbearable. BJ's alright. I'd moved on from Barney by the time Riff had come along, so I can't really make a comment on him. But Baby Bop? Oh, she's the most annoying side character on the show. We also see the habit trope displayed through Baby Bop, but it's freaking annoying. When she loses her blanket, she goes on a massive hunt for it, usually spanning at least half the episode, if not the entire thing. It's even used in the movie. I've no problem with the idea, but the way it's done just drives you up the wall. But there are some good ways you can actually use this trope. Take the Wiggles, for example. In the show, Jeff has a habit of falling asleep, and the Wiggles, along with the kids at home, have to wake him up. It's actually a good way to get the audience involved too, and it's even used as the Wiggles stage shows. It's a memorable little trope. But compared with Baby Bop losing her blanket, the story after Barney's appearance is largely the same. They go around the school, the park, or wherever the heck they are, with the power of their imagination. A mix of music, maybe some kind of sugar-coated self-worth message, and more before Barney sings his signature song. He reverts to his toy form and end episode. It's pretty much the standard single formula for everything. And for a show like this, it's pretty easy and simple to use. There are deviations from time to time. Christmas specials and others, like Imagination Island, do take an odd route, taking the kids out of their homes on adventures.
Twinkle, twinkle, little stars, up you go to who?
No, kids! Run! Don't go into the light! That's his pedo lair! You'll never come out again! Please, don't go in there! Please!
Honestly, what is it with kid shows making entrances that just seem so cringeworthy and wrong when you revisit the whole thing? It's not solely guilty, as I'll explore future in the show, but honestly, episodes of certain kids shows have their characters written so awkwardly when making appearances sometimes. A good example is Waiting for Santa, which sees Barney take the children to the North Pole to help Mrs. Claus, and it starts with Barney getting stuck in the chimney and having the kids pull him out.
The wiggle loose!
Oh, just hold your breath.
Okay.
For one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, what kind of sick man is this? The kids are gathered and they bring along Derek, who is new to the neighborhood and is scared that Santa will miss him because he's only moved in.
I'm Tina. We go to the same school. Hi.
This kid is reacting quite calmly. Wouldn't the kids run out of their rooms in terror if that happened? I certainly would. Also, this is Texas. The parents would shoot them if they saw them doing this. They arrive and encounter a really creepy snowman.
Yeah, stick with the pedo you know!
As things start to get a little more creepy and musical, they cross the ice and arrive at the workshop, being introduced to Mrs. Claus. Finding Derek is on the list, and then working on some toys as elves, but not before...
Yup!
After some singing from Mrs. Claus, they begin to set off home with a carol. Barney stays with Michael and Amy, reading them a story while Santa goes about his work. They finally fall asleep and Santa wishes us a happy Christmas. And end episode. Good heavens, this is cringeworthy. I mean, they got Mrs. Claus rolled down, she's just a sweet old lady, but just... Oh, it seems so awful to me. I mean, even as a kid, even when I used to enjoy this crud, this episode just... There was something that rubbed me the wrong way about it. And sticking with Barney as a character, why is it that the writers write him to situations that just seem so uncomfortable? Here's a good example. There's a little girl facing a Barney doll wishing it was school each and every day, and...
Did I hear someone say wish?
Oh, Barney, you hurt me!
He put himself into a locked up school with a child. What? Imagine what would happen if the police got involved.
Don't come any closer, or the girl gets it.
Oh, and the entrance he makes in Imagination Island?
Barney?
Oh, it feels more like the opening scene of a porno than a kid's show. I mean, I get it, he's the comforter, he's the guy you can go to sort out all your troubles. But do you have to write him so awkwardly? But, I guess looking from the child point of view, Barney is that fun kindergarten teacher that you used to have, who knew how to cheer us up, who used to use our childhood naivete to inspire us, to entertain. All that's well and good, but your kindergarten teacher isn't exactly who you want to get your life philosophy from. The music of the show is sickly sweet, no denying. It's like having a cup of tea which has an entire sugar bowl's contents inside. Among the nursery rhymes, which are bearable, you have other songs which are pretty much just watered down versions of You've Got a Friend in Me. Oh, oops, sorry Randy Newman, didn't mean to compare your music to that garbage. Besides the nursery rhymes and the learning songs, all the music from the show is either just about friendship or a song about the story, just to carry it along. Save one.
I love you, you love me.
Yeah, how could I not talk about it? It's the most pedo song in the entire show, let alone kids' media. I mean, it's all good for a parent or a loved one to sing it to their child. But a guy in a dinosaur costume. Let that image just sink in for a while. Your kid being sung to by a man in a dinosaur costume. Yep, I'm just as creeped out as you are.
Don't worry guys, I'm not going to play the song for sanity's sake. It's a terrible song, it's cringeworthy, and it just drives you up the... No, 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 no.
We're a happy
If you don't want the wall painted with essence of brain, turn that off. Thank you. On we go.
And of course you have the messages of the show. A lot of people have criticised the show for its overt positive nature and its glossed over view of the real world. And yes, I agree with the criticism, even if it's a show for little kids. But I will say this. Don't get me wrong, the execution is terrible, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to build up a kid's self-esteem. In this day and age of technology being utilised as a tool of abuse, we need to be able to encourage kids and build them up. But on the other hand, we do need to give kids a better idea of the world around them. It's not perfect, and we should still be able to make kids feel good, but sugarcoating excessively does little good for that. But at the end of the day, who's really going to take Barney's message seriously in primary school? The coolness of the show disappears quite quickly upon entering primary. It's like the chickenpox of kids' media. It's bad to have, but you know its effects will eventually disappear. The show finally ended in 2009, thank heavens, but left parents and some kids traumatized everywhere. It left behind a legacy of home videos, annoying songs, and pedo jokes in its wake. But did anything else really spawn from the series? Well, it did get one movie, Barney's Great Adventure, which to say the least is bad. Trey Parker, one of the brains behind South Park, actually was offered the director's chair, but turned it down. Good call, mate. I don't think you'd be able to be taken seriously if you had taken up that offer. Nothing else really came from the show, apart from one thing. A stage show. Yes, there is a stage show at a theme park, and it's still going on to this day. What? Yeah, I won't whip a dead horse. It's a really bad kids show. Bad message, poor execution, and music and repetitiveness that simply comes off as annoying. We've all heard it before, and not even the redeeming factors, small as they are, can save it. The show easily gets a 2.5 out of 10.
So why did I spend an entire video ranting about Barney the Dinosaur? Well, they're doing a reboot. They're doing a reboot of the show. Really? Really? Come on, we don't need this temporary retardation of our next generation of children. It's unnecessary. Please, let's just forget about that purple pedo and let's just move on. But that's another childhood over. So, until next time guys, goodbye. Harera.